Hey everyone, CPO here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about this guy. This is the Blackstone On The Go griddle with flex fold legs. I bought it by accident. I know, that's weird. I thought I was getting a different griddle, and when I grabbed the box and got home with it, I realized I got this guy, and then I had to decide if this was the right griddle for me or if I wanted the one I was originally going to get, which was an adventure-ready griddle that had like just a normal table stand, and yeah, this is different. I'll show you a little bit about the differences, but for now, let me show you what I'm replacing. So this is my old and busted Weber that I've had for, I don't know, 15 years. And what I've been doing is using this little griddle insert that is a portable stainless steel griddle that I was using to see if I could, A, bring this old nasty thing back to life, but B, if I liked that griddle lifestyle. And I liked it enough that I decided I wanted to get a more permanent solution. While the little griddle is pretty cool in its own right, there are some disadvantages. One of them is that it just does not hold heat. I've even removed the grates. You can see them sitting down there. I removed the grates and set it straight down, nearly on top of the flames. It's really hard to get up to temperature, and so it's tough to cook with in that regard. And a dedicated griddle like this Blackstone really solves that problem. But I did like the remoteness of it, the ability to make it portable. And so because of that, I have selected a griddle that is also portable. This one is more portable and less portable than I was hoping for when I went to Blackstone. I was originally going to get the Adventure Ready griddle that had a separate griddle piece, and then the stand was a separate thing. This is all connected. There's no way to remove the griddle from the legs. But that's by design, because now this acts as a rollaway cart, which I'll show you here in a second. It also came with this adapter hose for a full-size propane tank, or you can use this one if you're traveling and using it for a camping/portable griddle. It does have a locking hard lid, which I really like. Not a lot of the griddles have an actual cover on them, and in particular, not one that's locking, so when you travel with it, you can keep it all together. But I haven't seen a lot of reviews on this on the interwebs, and all the ones I did find were on the other version, the Adventure Ready version that wasn't flex fold, and so that, like I said, that's what I thought I was getting. I got home and realized what I ended up with is this cool guy with the flex fold legs. I will say it does have, and I don't know if this is with just all the new griddles, but there is a lot of wind shielding, wind protection on the sides. The sides and the front are protected, and I don't think that that is true of the one that I was originally going to buy. So what I'll do in this video is show you my seasoning process. It's been cooking great. I've done probably, I don't know, maybe a dozen cooks on this. And it's been great. It's been absolutely phenomenal and pretty close in size to what I had out of this guy, the little griddle, which is why I thought that the 22-inch would be a good size, because I've cooked for 12 people on this with no problem. I have to, you know, stage my cook a little bit. And this is like largely the same size, but gets up to temperature way faster. Like, it is way better at building and holding heat. So just to show you real quick how simple this can be. There we go, that side is lit. You can probably see that flame in there. Could do the same thing. Just that side is lit. I don't know if you can see the flame in there or not. Yeah, and then basically, unless I'm doing smash burgers, the whole thing just goes on low, and it's plenty hot. It gets to 350, 400 degrees, no problem on low. And then when I want to crank it up for smash burgers or something that I want to get a good sear on, I just ramp it up, and it does well. So I'm not cooking anything right now. But what I do want to show you is this portable function, right? So, by the way, one thing I don't like about it, I have this just level here, is there's not a way to level this. The thing that I liked about the other griddle stand is it had adjustable legs where you could level the griddle. This doesn't have any inherent leveling capability. The griddle itself is fixed to the base. The base is fixed to the legs, and the legs are fixed. There's no adjustment there. So the only way to level this is going to be with cardboard under the wheels, or leveling strips, or whatever, coasters. Like I've reached out and got a lot of great ideas, but it's a manual level process. Blackstone does make some leveling blocks that would work for this. But point being is that you don't have a way within the griddle itself to help it be level. But this thing, I've had this for many years. I just got it from Harbor Freight. It's pretty handy just to quickly get a read on, the griddle level. And then it's magnetic base. That's all I use it for. And it solves that problem and then allows me to get it level. I'm in best case conditions right here on a backyard patio, so leveling isn't really a super huge problem. Like, I can get it pretty close. Anyway, let me take off this large propane tank and I will show you how it becomes portable, which is super cool. Turn this back off. By the way, the other thing that this comes with, which is I guess not all of them come with it, is this like holder for the propane. So let me get this off of here. Set that right up there. And then this just clips around. Ooh, there you go. So, I mean, that's kind of neat, actually. All right, so if you were to go portable, you wouldn't necessarily need this big propane hanger here. I would just pull it off. It's screwed on right there on the legs. But for the purposes of this demonstration, it'll be fine. So once you get everything off of your griddle, get the lid locked down, just like that. Then here is what you do to take it with you. All I'm going to do is put a foot here, lift up, and allow the entire thing to collapse. Now, from here, I can pick it up by the leg. There is a lock right there, and that locks the legs. And now you can just wheel this away as a portable cart. Make sure you empty out your grease trap in the back. But that's super cool. Then when you get where you want to go, you can release the lock, set it down, pick up, pull, and then lock it into itself. And then if you choose to add in the propane tank, you can do so pretty simply. This just wraps around and then clips on. And you're good to go. All right, so now that I've given you a rundown on the grill, let me show you my process for getting it set up and my first couple of cooks. The very first thing, cold grill. Before I do anything, I just want to clean it, and I'm using just regular Dawn dishwashing liquid and water, and that's it. And I've got a little grill brush here that I've used for other things. It's just like a, I don't know, like a Brillo pad brush. I don't know what it is. It's for girls. Anyway, I'm using that, and the whole point here is just to get off any of that initial grease, which is more of a protective grease to keep it from rusting while it's in storage and transit. But I don't want to cook on that. I want like my own like special seasoning and my own grease and oil. So anyway, getting rid of all that. And like I said, this is just a cold grill, and I'm using Dawn dish soap and water, and just pushing all of that soapy water into the grease trap back in the back of the griddle there. And I spent a little bit of time on this process just because like I wanted to get it good and clean. And then I wanted to make sure I got rid of all the soap because I didn't want soapy food either. So you can see me holding up and tilting the grill to get all of that to flow out the back in there, and then using my hands. Again, this is a cold grill. Now I'm going to heat it up and use some of the heat to help evaporate off any excess water. And then I'm also taking a paper towel and sopping up any excess water. And then I end up with a perfectly dry grill that is now ready to start seasoning. I'm starting this process on a cold grill. I know the instructions say to turn on the heat and let it heat up. I don't know that it actually matters, but my seasoning is really good and I started on a cold grill. So anyway, you take that for what it's worth. This is avocado oil. This is what I'm planning to cook with most of the time. It's either that or olive oil for the most part. But I'm taking a little bit of oil and getting it all over the entire inside surface of the grill. And then I turn it on high heat and letting that cook off. And you can see where it turns dark, that's where it's starting to get seasoned. And it starts out a little bit rough with the first coat, but then as you do this, as it stops smoking, add additional oil, really thin layers, then it will burn off and eventually it will start to smooth out a little bit and get more of an even seasoning. So you can see the darker areas are the hotter areas and the lighter areas are the cooler areas. And that's actually good to know for when you're cooking. You kind of know where it cools off a little bit. Obviously in the front isn't directly over any heat source, so that's a little bit cooler, as are the very sides of the griddle. Those are a little bit cooler. So it's just interesting to see where those spots are. But anyway, I did this, I don't know, 5, 6 times. And it just, like, I don't know, it went from rough and dark to like smooth and dark, and that's what you're doing. You're filling in all of these little voids with this like burned in oil, and what's left is basically a non-stick surface or a very lightly stick surface. Now you can also do this with your hands. I tried to do it with the tongs for the most part to look safe on the internet, but sometimes I just want to do it with my hands. So you know, be careful. After that, I decided to make bacon. Bacon was the first meal I cooked on this, and I cooked an entire package of bacon. So I was kind of curious. Number one, can I cook an entire package of bacon on this? I can, no problem. But number two, bacon generates its own grease, so that only helps add to the seasoning process and doesn't require any additional oil for cooking, and bacon is just good. Like that's, I mean, really, that's the best reason. Bacon is good. So I did get a chance, because I had the entire surface covered, I could see really easily where the hot spots were, where the cool spots were. I know there's like the biscuit test and the bread test and all of that stuff, but actually the bacon test works pretty good too, because it's pretty easy to see which sides cook the bacon faster than others. But if you move it around, then you'll get it all cooked up. And like I said, this adds to the seasoning process because I'm getting that bacon grease all over as well. And then I just wiped it down with a paper towel when I was done. I did use a scraper here. I have a grill scraper to scrape all that excess bacon grease out and into the back. I don't know that one thing I did like about the little griddle is that little front grease tray where I could just drag everything to the front. This has that hole in the back, but you know, it is what it is. The next thing I did is I made an egg, right? So one of the true tests of whether or not you've got a good non-stick surface is the ability to like make a fried egg without having it completely stick. It's got a little stickage here, but again, this is like the first cook. So matter of fact, I've cooked eggs since this, and it is definitely more like a Teflon surface, like that kind of a non-stick surface. But this is pretty good for just the first round of seasoning and then the first cook. So anyway, eggs and bacon, great starter. Scrambled eggs would be probably easier to pull off. if you've got some stickage there. But yeah, fried egg works out really well. The next thing I cooked was bacon wrapped hot dogs. This was for dinner later that night. I was bacheloring it because my wife was out to dinner with someone else, one of her friends. So I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to do bacon wrapped hot dogs because I know she's not going to be into that. And yeah, again, it's more grease, more seasoning to add to the griddle. And yeah, it's super good. So if you've never tried this, try this. You don't have to do anything special. Just take a piece of bacon and wrap it around a hot dog, roll it around a lot so it doesn't get particularly dark on any one side. And man, well, this is super tasty. That's it. Like that's my first day of seasoning and cooking. After I had this dinner, I scraped all the bits and bobs off with my scraper again, and then I used water to steam clean the top surface. You always have to be careful with water because that steam is super duper hot. So don't put water on there and immediately start scraping. Let that sort of burn off just a little bit before you shove your hand down in there, and be real careful. But after I do that, I dry it with a paper towel, and then I take just a little bit more of that avocado oil or olive oil and just put a light coating back on the surface. And then that's it. That is the process. While I wasn't actually looking for this particular model, it turned out to be exactly what I needed because it's easier for me to drag this whole thing around to where I need it than it is to pick this up and carry it and then pick up legs and carry that. The downside though is it's all one big unit, which means getting it inside of a vehicle is going to be more challenging for storage, right? Because you've got to store it as a unit. It gets pretty flat, but it's longer than just the griddle top itself. So anyway, that's it. Just wanted to share that with you. And yeah, it's been amazing. I don't know. I like it. I'm all about that griddle lifestyle now. I wasn't sure if it was for me, which is why I started with the little griddle. Also super cool, but different. Like if you've got an old grill that you want to transform into a griddle, that's the way to go right there. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a link to Amazon. It's an affiliate link, and if you buy that, support the channel, but also we'll get you the exact one that I have right there. Same for that. I'll put a link for this too. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.